Welcome in, everybody, to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday. It's Wednesday, June 3rd already. We are halfway through 2026. Hard to believe. It's Supernatural News and Parashare on a Wednesday. Tim Dennis, and of course, our co-hostess today. She is our princess of the paranormal. She is our mistress of the macabre. She is our sorceress of the supernatural, our supernatural soul sister. She's from the state that looks like a mitten, ladies and gentlemen, straight from Michigan, Miss Mallie Fox. Hi, Mallie.
Hello, hello.
How are things?
Things are great, thank you. How are things for you?
Excellent.
Fabulous.
Had a wonderful weekend, and just rolling. We're halfway to the weekend already, which
I know.
Yeah, I'm cycling through relatives here in the next couple of weeks, and Wayne D will be in town from Nashville next week. There's a huge screening on Monday of Disclosure Day. So depending on, we may have it may be either Wednesday or Thursday of next week. I'll have a review of Disclosure Day for you.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they're going to have any celebrities there? Because you know how sometimes at the premieres they'll bring somebody.
Well, the screening is local here to Minneapolis. A lot of national celebrities have seen the movie already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I know Stephen Colbert saw it before he had his last show.
Mm-hmm.
So he saw a rough cut of it. So there's been some people who have seen it already. Which makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. Mm-hmm. But I'll be seeing it. I'll be seeing it Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little excited to see what's up with this deal. But it comes out June 12th. So it's coming quick.
Well, just let me know if I need to hibernate in my house for a while.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
While civilization goes nuts. Let me know if I just need to hang out in my house for a while and then let it cool down.
I have a feeling it won't be as bad as you think. I have a feeling there's a big peace and love deal at the end of this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is softening the blow for what's coming later this summer, but yeah, I think it's the soft padding we're all supposed to land in before the big right hook. So yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be that bad. But there's some big stuff this week. General McCaslin, who went missing quite a few months ago, there's a little tidbit of news this week when it comes to General McCaslin. We'll talk about Blue Origin's big dick missile that blew up this past week. Why is it billionaires can't build spaceships? I'll rant a little about it. Just a little, Mallie. Just give me my little...
Yeah, well, you ranted last week about it.
I did. I ranted about the other one, the other rich idiot who blew one up. We'll talk about the other rich idiot who can't build a spaceship this week. That'll come up.
You just don't like rich idiots.
Well, it's not that I don't like them. I'd like to be friends with them. I just don't want them anywhere near space programs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if they stay away from that, they'd be fine. Although the explosion was great. I don't know if did you see the footage of it?
No, I did not.
Oh, Mallie, the explosion was amazing. I have never seen. I'll tell you, when Bezos does it up, he does it up right. In fact, you know what? I think I have it right here. I'll even play it for you real quick.
You know, after he sent the women into so-called space,
I'm surprised he didn't blow them up like this.
Oh my God, I was so annoyed with that.
If he would have blown them up like this, I think the entire country would have made him king. I would have voted for it. I would have said, hey, make him King Bezos, because this was an amazing explosion. I don't know how to. I mean, it was a fireball unlike any other fireball ever created. If he would have done this on July 4th, you wouldn't have had to have any other firework go off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would have just been, just play the Star Spangled Banner, yell 3, 2, 1, and then this right here. Are you ready for this? Watch this. Boom.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Yep.
I mean, tell me that isn't impressive.
That looks expensive.
Oh, right?
That's a big oops.
That's a few billion right there, up in smoke.
Yeah.
And that was on the launch pad. Everything was demolished. We're talking gone. And then afterwards, I think he had the nerve to say, does anybody want to help me fund the rebuild? I mean, look at how expansive that explosion is.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
That was nice, to quote Bernie Mac. That is something. That is an explosion, kids.
Yeah.
That's something else. And when they say Blue Origin, I mean, that was a bigger explosion than putting a 13-year-old in front of Pornhub. I mean, that was how big of an explosion that was. You know what I mean? That was something else. But we'll get to that a little bit later in the program. I you know how long I've been sitting on that joke? That was fun. Elsewhere, we've got some unusual, you know what? For once, I've got some unusual AI news, not necessarily doomsday type stuff.
Okay.
But some unusual AI stuff for you this week. I think you might be impressed.
Ooh.
Yeah. Also, we'll talk about whether your brain is wired to never see a ghost. To the people who are giant skeptics or cynics, maybe you're just wired that way.
Okay.
Maybe it's not that you don't believe in it. Maybe you can never see it because you're hardwired that way. Think about that for a second. Also, we'll talk about whether, if you're ready for this mind F for a second, only conscious experience actually exists, says a neuroscientist. Woo! In other words, if you're ready for this, is reality only a conscious experiment? So,
oh, good God.
Do we move everything really with our minds? And is reality only that conscious experiment? Is it all one quantum experiment?
Okay.
All right. This is according to one neuroscientist. So we're going to get really heavy as far as that goes. We do have a couple of ghosty stories today, which are kind of fun as well. And Mallie, our palate cleanser today, I don't know if you got a chance to listen to Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals, but as part of our palate cleanser today, I did find your soulmate.
Oh, boy.
I know Mr. Fox may be a little flabbergasted to know that he has competition, but I'm going to tell you about him. There's two stories to our palate cleanser. It just so happens to be people who are not having the best day, but one of them is your potential soulmate.
Okay. He doesn't live by me again, does he?
No.
That guy at the
okay. No, you'd have to go to
movie theater.
You'll have to go to Florida to meet him. But yeah. But I'll tell you about him at the end of the program. So get hyped, my friend. Get hyped. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. So that's coming up. But first, there's a new clue revealed in the search for a missing U.S. Air Force general. William Neal McCaslin may have met up with some members of the U.S. Space Force the night before he disappeared. Yeah. It's a mystery that has endured now for several months and a case that has sparked a more widespread interest in the disappearance of prominent figures across the U.S. The strangeness began on February 27th when McCaslin left his home in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and vanished without a trace, with nobody having seen him at all since that time. According to his wife, he had left home without his phone, his watch, and a fact that she found particularly odd. As being an experienced outdoorsman, it isn't something he would normally do. He also suffers from a medical condition that makes his disappearance even more of a concern. While clues as to what might have happened to him have since been thin on the ground, police investigators recently spoke to an unnamed female witness who reportedly saw McCaslin the night before he disappeared. She maintains that she, along with several members of the U.S. Space Force, actually had dinner with him that evening in Albuquerque around 6 p.m. local time. I was shocked this morning when I saw the alert because what I noticed Thursday evening is that he wasn't his usual self, she told officers at the time of his disappearance. He was kind of spacey and quiet, and she says, that happens with people. I don't quite know what that means. While this additional testimony doesn't explain what happened to McCaslin or where he is now, it does prove further insight into his mental state just before he disappeared. So he was a little unusual at dinner the night before he disappeared, which doesn't explain whether there was some sort of mental acuity difficulty or if maybe he was being threatened. Mm-hmm. It could have been one or the other.
Yeah, what I find odd was that a bunch of them started disappearing or supposedly were committing suicide, because then you had a bunch of figures posting things saying, hey, if you find me dead, I was of sound mind.
Right. Especially,
you know what I mean?
The one scientist who was working on anti-gravity said that. Mm-hmm. She said, if I disappear, if you hear that I've committed suicide, I have not.
Mm-hmm. There were a couple of them that did that.
Yep. The most recent one, who was on Ancient Aliens, did the exact same thing too. Mm-hmm. If it's not like me. If you hear I've committed suicide, I have not.
Yeah.
So some strange things. Our next story is a story that got a lot of people's eyes rolling. Now, we don't normally tackle political things on this show, but this was not a political doing of ours whatsoever. You may remember that the White House established the aliens.gov domain. And at the time, we had speculated as to what aliens.gov was, right? Obviously, we thought it had to do with disclosure and what was coming up with disclosure. It had nothing of the sort to do with disclosure. When you went to it this past week, it started out with a flying saucer flying overhead. Mm-hmm. It flew over a fence. It turned out to be a border fence, Mallie.
Oh.
Yes, we got screwed with by the administration once again. The domain name, which was, by the way, and as it flies over the border fence, it also drops down, this flying saucer drops down a tractor beam and picks up, you guessed it, an illegal alien and transports them over the border fence, which was evidently funny to the administration. It wasn't funny to some people.
Right.
The domain name, which was registered in the run-up to the release of Trump's UFO files, has generated much speculation. Back in March, the U.S. government registered two domain names, alien.gov and aliens.gov, which prompted a great deal of debate on and intrigue into the UFO world and by UFO enthusiasts. The timing was significant because it came only a month after Trump had promised to release the country's secret UFO files to the public, suggesting that these domains may become the online destinations at which it would be possible to view them. While the release of the files actually did happen, with more batches being added over time, they ultimately were made available on the Department of War's website, not on those domains. As such, speculation about these mysterious websites had faded until this past week, when finally a website did appear on aliens.gov, redirecting users to a page on the White House's website. The page begins promisingly with eerie green text describing aliens that are living among us. Oh, that was the groaner. And referencing a closely guarded secret that was hidden for 60 years. Unfortunately, though, when you read further down the page, the true purpose of the site becomes clear. For from being a revelation about extraterrestrial visitors, the aliens in question are in fact illegal immigrants. The entire site's purpose is to promote Trump's immigration policies. Unsurprisingly, the misleading nature of the site has left a lot of people disgruntled, to say the least. So,
I feel like it got rickrolled.
It was a political rickroll. You got it right there, Mal. That's exactly what it was. So, yeah. Which, when you do stuff like that, then you leave the entire UFO community going, okay, can we really trust you now? The stuff that you are feeding us, is it legit? Can we now, when you string us along like that, can we really trust that the stuff you're giving us is 100% legit? We'll see. In the past, we've talked about these elongated skulls that you've seen in South America.
Yeah.
They've done some DNA testing on them, and it has failed to rule out that these are of extraterrestrial origins. The peculiar skulls, which exhibit strange elongated craniums, have been the topic of debate and intrigue for years. They're known as the Paracas skulls, and these unusual remains were unearthed in Peru around 100 years ago and exhibit what many archaeologists have long believed to be a form of deliberate skull deformation, most likely achieved through binding of the cranium during infancy. Not everyone is convinced that this is the case, however, with some arguing that these mysterious mummies are in fact evidence of historical extraterrestrial visitation. What hasn't helped matters is that multiple prior studies have failed to reach a definitive conclusion. I know in Egypt they said the same thing too. They thought that the elongated skulls were from binding the skull, and that had happened during infancy as well. Recently, in an effort to find answers, a team of researchers from Liberty University in Virginia sought to extract DNA from the mummy's teeth, a part of the skeleton most likely to provide useful results. Sadly, though, even this didn't seem to help, as the amount of DNA recovered was still too low to yield any meaningful findings concerning the genetic makeup of the skulls. It is now thought that there simply isn't enough DNA left in the skulls to analyze. Unless a way of getting around this issue can be found, we may never know for sure what the story is behind these mysterious skulls. I would think it'd be incredibly hard to bind a skull and get it to grow consistently outward the way that they get them. Because bone, for those of you who have ever catastrophically broken a bone, such as your boy here, it's hard to get it to grow in a certain direction, consistently. And much like if you see these skulls lined up next to each other, they're all growing a certain direction, right? And consistently growing in a certain direction.
But I always thought that they did it the way that, you know how the women did the coils around the neck to extend their neck? I always thought that's how they did the head.
They did. Yes, you're right. But then you only do the coils up to a certain point, and then at the end of the coil, the bone can grow in any direction. So it's how it grows at the end of the coil, right? I mean, you should have a regular skull cap that grows at the end. But then if the bone is, because, that supposedly you've got that free-floating portion to the top of the skull. Yeah. Right? That eventually closes shut when you're a baby. Well, this is only, again, I'm not a doctor, I have no idea. But if you take and you extend that out, I would think that cap wouldn't be as free-floating, or it would open up like an orange, wouldn't it? And it wouldn't close properly?
Bend it? Oh, I don't know.
I would think that it would heal differently on each person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with me, when my Charcot foot shattered, it shattered twice, and it grew back a different way each time. So, and I was told by an orthopedic surgeon, bone doesn't grow back the same way twice. It follows its own pattern. And so it just fills in cracks, right? So, I don't know. Medical specialists, weigh in, send me an email, tim@darknessradio.com. If you know better than us, let us know. Because we're no experts. So
definitely not an expert.
Yeah. So let us know if we're off or on, or what the deal is there. So, now Next story. NASA has announced the first steps in a bid towards building a base on the moon. Let's hope they're not using one of those two billionaires to do it, because I think we know how that's going to go. The space agency is going back to the lunar surface in a big way with plans for a permanent manned outpost. At an event on Tuesday of last week, NASA revealed more about its plans to build a base on the moon and detailed some of the missions that will take place even before Artemis 4 lands, the first humans on the moon there since the Apollo era. The first mission, Moonbase 1, will launch this fall with the goal of landing cargo on the moon using Blue Origin's Blue Moon Mark 1 Endurance lander. That may be in jeopardy now. There's the update to the story after Dick Missile 1 went kaboom, is that it isn't necessarily safe with Blue Origin, but we'll see. They supposedly had the contract after SpaceX's rocket went kaboom, but we'll see. It will also carry out tests and experiments long before any humans arrive. Then later this year, Moonbase 2 and Moonbase 3 will land additional payloads. These will reportedly be the first of more than a dozen lunar missions that will take place ahead of Artemis 4 while providing foundational work in preparation for a future base. During the event, NASA also revealed details of a new lunar rover, lander, and orbiter designs. The moon base will be America's and humanity's first outpost on another celestial world, said Administrator Jared Isaacman. Every mission, crewed and uncrewed, will be a learning opportunity as we return to the lunar surface, build the infrastructure to stay, and master the skills required to live and operate in one of the most demanding and dangerous environments imaginable. I'll tell you this, Mal. I'm a little afraid for the people that are attempting this.
Yeah.
You know, especially with everything we're learning through disclosure and the pictures that are there from Apollo 17, and even what we've learned with from the director of Age of Disclosure, who says if you just take a filter on that one picture from Apollo 17, you'll see there's more than just one set of extraterrestrials watching. If there's many sets watching us just land on the moon to see what we're doing. What are they going to do when we start building a base that's based off of nuclear power? And they see that we're actually, this base is a mining and manufacturing factory, and that we're mining resources on the moon. We're taking resources from space. Are they going to get pissed off? Then what do they do?
Well, they'll say, welcome to the neighborhood, and bring over a meatloaf.
Let's hope. Right?
A casserole.
Let's hope it's not like what happened to that Blue Origin rocket this week.
Yeah.
Right? And they just decide, we don't think you should have the base anymore, and blow it off the face of the moon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that is a little bit nerve-wracking to think that they're watching.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they might not be happy.
Right. By the way, there's a name for the Dick missile. I forgot to tell you. It's the New Glenn rocket. Nobody remembers that. I saw it online. Somebody called it the Dick missile, and I lost it. Because it really did look like a Dick missile. But Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket exploded in a massive fireball during its pre-launch test. And no, I don't think it was on purpose. Much like SpaceX claimed theirs was.
Yeah. No, it's too expensive to be on purpose.
Yeah.
It makes them look like an idiot.
Oh,
so I don't think they did it on purpose.
No. It could be a big setback for the company and for NASA's moon plans. Blue Origin hit a huge hurdle on its way to the moon. The company's powerful New Glenn rocket exploded during a routine pre-launch engine test at Florida's Cape Canaveral Space Force Station last Thursday night, May 28th, creating a huge fireball that lit up the dark Space Coast skies. I showed Mallie here as we were starting the show. We experienced an anomaly during today's hot fire test, and it was hot fire, boy. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
That's what Blue Origin wrote in a statement. All personnel have been accounted for. We will provide updates as we learn more. Nobody was injured, thank God. Blue Origin said in an update on X on Thursday night, but damage to the pad, Launch Complex 36, LC-36, could be extensive, judging by the extent of the explosion, which multiple rocket watchers captured on video. All personnel are accounted for and safe. It's too early to know the root cause, but we're already working to find it, said Jeff Bezos, the billionaire and founder of Blue Origin, wrote in a statement on social media. Very rough day, but we'll rebuild to or whatever needs to be rebuilt and get back to flying. It's worth it, he went on to say. Oh, I'm sure it is worth it, especially if there's a contract at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, guys. I mean, the most basic thing that Boeing has been doing for years, building a rocket that gets safely off the ground, 2 billionaires can't do. Why is that? I don't get it. Right? The accident could have been could have big implications for Blue Origin, NASA, and the United States moon plans. Blue Origin, which Amazon's Bezos founded back in 2000, sees the 320-foot tall or 98 meters New Glenn as its launch workhorse, a powerhouse rocket that will help humanity establish a foothold away from Earth. Indeed, New Glenn is the rocket ride for Blue Origin's Blue Moon, one of the 2 private vehicles, along with SpaceX's Starship, that NASA selected to land astronauts on the moon for its Artemis project. And the agency announced earlier this week that Blue Moon will land 2 private lunar rovers on the lunar surface, missions that are key to the build-out of NASA's planned moon base near the South Pole. The agency wants at least one of those rovers to be on the moon before the first crewed Artemis mission, which is Artemis 4, and when it touches down, which is a milestone targeted for late 2028. I mean, we're 2 years away, Mallie.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get a rocket off the launch pad. And we're 2 years away. You got to build a whole new one from scratch and make sure it works. And not blow up half the coastline while doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blue Moon is supposed to head to the moon considerably sooner than that. Blue Origin is gearing up to send a robotic prototype of the vehicle called Blue Moon Mark 1 to the lunar surface later this year. So they got to get a rocket together with a lunar lander by the end of this year. That's how you make mistakes.
Yeah, by rushing it. Yeah.
And they're supposed to demonstrate the vehicle's capabilities by then, too. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman addressed the New Glenn explosion on Thursday night, showing how important the rocket is to the agency's plans going forward. He said space flight is unforgiving, and developing new heavy lift launch capability is extraordinarily difficult. Isaacman said in an X post, "We will work out our partners to support a thorough investigation of this anomaly, assess near-term mission impacts, and get back to launching rockets. We will provide information on any impacts to the Artemis and moon-based programs as it becomes available." By the way, New Glenn has flown just 3 times to date, and things haven't always gone swimmingly. For example, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration grounded the rocket briefly after its 3rd flight, which occurred on April 19th. During that mission, New Glenn failed to deploy its payload, the Bluebird 7 communication satellite, into the proper orbit. Thursday's explosion occurred during a hot fire engine test meant to clear the path for New Glenn's 4th flight, which was supposed to deploy 49 satellites for Amazon's nascent broadband constellation. That mission was scheduled to fly on June 4th. LC-36 is currently the only pad that it hosts New Glenn launches, so extensive damage to the pad would likely keep the rocket grounded for a while.
Mm.
It's kind of put the program back quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I need to say anything else. I think it was all said in the article. Right? Yep. Yeah. Interesting story up in space. A mystery object was spotted passing between the Earth and a distant star. The object took around 1 hour to pass in front of the star, and nobody is quite sure what it could be. The discovery was made using the Dark Energy Camera, or DECAM, during observations of the Large Magellanic Cloud, which is a satellite galaxy of our own Milky Way. Thanks to an effect known as gravitational lensing, the researchers noticed a temporary brightening of one particular star indicative of an object passing in front of it. The brightening effect lasted approximately an hour. The question is, what could the object, referred to by the team as Phoebe, like from Friends, I don't know why they named it that, have been? The possibility is that the object is a rogue planet, a whole planet, a free-roaming world that had become separated from its original solar system and now floats untethered through the interstellar void. That can't be healthy for whatever's on it, right? Because it probably doesn't have gravity or an atmosphere, I'm guessing. If true, it would make this the first ever detection of an extragalactic planet. The researchers, however, believe that the most likely explanation is that Phoebe is, in fact, something known as a primordial black hole. This theoretical type of black hole is thought to have formed shortly after the Big Bang from extremely dense, tightly packed pockets of subatomic matter that had gravitationally collapsed. Based on comparison of the optical depth of the three galactic models, it is far more likely that Phoebe belongs to the dark matter density, and hence it is the best candidate for a primordial black hole, the study's authors wrote. Whether it be planet or black hole, the thing was flying pretty close to Earth, I think, right? At least what it sounds like. I don't know. I keep telling people, in every way, in any way, at any time we can get hit. I like the doomsday approach to things.
You're doom and gloom.
Every day we're on Earth is a good day because it's another day you happen to have lived through not getting hit by something from the sky. Actually, that's a positive spin, Mal. You made it through another day of not getting hit by something out of space. So count your lucky stars, literally. Speaking of, Massachusetts was rocked by a sonic boom this past week as police fielded multiple reports. The sonic boom was by something they thought fell from space. See, so they could have been hit. The sound in some areas was described as so loud it shook people's houses. Residents in parts of New England on Saturday were left shaken after a huge sonic boom rocked the area, leaving many concerned about what was happening. Police departments reported multiple calls from anxious locals looking for answers. The explosion was heard and felt throughout New England, shaking homes. They could have made them too. I don't know. It could have been a building meteorite. Who knows? Shaking homes and causing many people to be justifiably concerned, said Rentham Police Chief Bill McGrath. We have no reports of damage or injuries in Rentham, and haven't heard of any injuries in the region. While the incident left many wondering if there had been any industrial explosion or terrorist incident, it turned out that the actual explanation for the phenomenon was a lot more benign. The culprit was, in fact, a bolide, a type of bright meteor that explodes in the atmosphere. While meteorological events of this nature are known to occur quite often, most of them have never been seen or heard by most people because they happen out at sea or in remote areas. Luckily, though, this particular incident, while scary, was ultimately harmless. Unless it falls and hits your house, then it's not. Right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Exactly. See, look at me, doom and gloom. You gotta love it. And finally, before we go to break, I know I'm not being very cheery in this section of the program, Mallie, but our last story has to do with the spin of the Earth and the fact that it's now slowing down at an unprecedented rate. To me, that just means we get more hours in a day, you would think, right?
Right.
Or that time would slow down, you would think. But what does it mean exactly? The shifting of mass from one part of the Earth's surface to another is gradually increasing the length of a day. We get a longer day.
There's probably something bad, though, to this.
Yeah, it might be, yeah. You might be forgiven for thinking that the length of a day is a fixed length of time, the time it takes the Earth to complete a single rotation, yet this period, in fact, constantly is in motion, influenced by a number of factors, including what's going on with the atmosphere and the ocean currents. Now, according to a new study, the rate of change is at the moment unprecedented, owing to the knock-on effects of global warming and how it is impacting the poles. The new research has found that when the polar ice caps and glaciers melt due to rising global temperatures, the water ultimately spreads from the poles toward the equator. This has the effect of slowing the Earth's spin and increasing the length of a day. Those hoping to see 25-hour days may have to wait quite a while, however, as the effect, despite being significant, geologically speaking, only amounts to 1.33 milliseconds per century. So you get an extra millisecond. That doesn't seem like much, I know.
Mm-hmm.
A millisecond. Such a shift in the length of a day requires a staggering redistribution of mass on the order of 1,000 gigatons moving from the poles to the ocean, said study co-author Professor Benedict Soja. To visualize this amount, imagine a solid cube of ice placed over New York City. It would be 10 kilometers high and taller than Mount Everest. The rate of change is, in fact, so significant that it is necessary to go back 2 million years to find a period in the Earth's history that was remotely comparable. Exactly what impact this will have on our planet and on us moving forward remains unclear. But we saved a millisecond. Look at me being positive. Sure, the Earth may be warmer and there's no ice, but we saved a millisecond. I got nothing. All right. When we come back, we'll tell you about why ChatGPT thinks you're in the stupidest state in the country.
Are you pointing to me?
It could be you, it could be me, it could be anybody in our audience.
Okay. I thought you were referring to me.
ChatGPT thinks you're all stupid, but they'll tell you why they think you're in the stupidest state in the country.
Okay.
They're literally roasting everybody, ChatGPT is. It's kind of a funny article. I thought it was hysterical. But it could be you, Mel, that's in the stupidest state in the country. But we'll tell you what. Is your brain wired to never see a ghost? A psychologist on 3 factors that make a paranormal experience more likely. You may be a skeptic and a cynic, but it may be in your brain. It could have nothing to do with your experiences.
Okay.
All right. Is the real world just a conscious experiment? We'll talk about that when we come back. We've also got some ghosty stories out there as well today. We'll talk about whether a heat wave in the UK in Cannock Chase is causing more ghosts to appear. That's one of the stories we have coming up. We'll talk about the ghost of Bruce Forsyth and if it's drunk and if it's causing people to see him singing in Japanese. How's that for a story, Mel?
It's pretty good.
That's unusual. And our palate cleanser today, by gosh, folks, we think we found Mallie's soulmate. And he's having a bit of a rough day.
Oh, aren't we all?
Yeah, along with one other person who's having a really rough day. But it's basically our palate cleanser today is, so you think you're having a rough day, check out these 2. But the one guy I think Mallie can hang with. They share a love of something.
Nutella?
You'll find out.
Okay.
It's coming up next. I don't know if you love this thing as much as this guy, but you'll find out. It's coming up next. Supernatural news and Parashare. By the way, if you have a Parashare story for us, send it in. tim@darknessradio.com. You can email me. You can also leave us a voice note at darknessradioshow.com. Click on the blue button on the website, or if you have a studio just like the one you see me on video, send us a video message, and we'll air it right here on the program. When we come back, AI's roasting you, ghost stories galore, and we found Mallie's soulmate. Next, right here on Supernatural News and Parashare on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday. Supernatural News and Parashare. Your buddies Tim and Mallie. Hey, Mallie, I got to tell you something real quick. Chipmunk update. I'll give you a chipmunk update. There's like 3 people out there that love the chipmunk update, so I'll give it to them real quick. I told you before the show about Pip, Spuddy's little cherubic offspring. That's the best way I can describe Pip. So Pip has been skittish, of course, because they're skittish when they're freshly weaned off of mom and getting used to the real world. But I think Pip's beginning to warm up to me slightly, just slightly, a tiny bit. And I'll tell you why. So normally, as I'm cleaning out the food dishes, Pip will run from me. If Pip even sees me, he'll run from me. But as he came out to kind of take a look to see, if I got done putting food in the dishes, he was starting to run from me. I said, "Hey, don't go anywhere." I said, "It makes Papa sad when you run from me." And he kind of went, "Huh?" And he kind of poked his head out, and then he kind of walked out towards me, and he gave me a look like, "Aw, don't be sad." And then he kind of stood there with me while I finished filling the dishes. I think mainly because he wanted to eat, collect his food and go.
Right.
But he was like, "Oh, don't be sad." Right. So he waited, and then I filled his dishes, and then he kind of dug in and filled his pouch. Right. So I thought, we're making progress. Right. All right. But then he ran. He took off. He's like, "I'm out of here. You're scary." So I thought, okay, our progress is wiped. But then today I went out to fill the dishes out near Spud's little area there. And I thought, I'm just going to be quiet today, because normally I come out and I'm talking to the thin air because, Spud's hormonal, from giving birth, and Pip's running from me. So I normally look like a crazy person out in my garage talking to nobody. So I go out there and I'm just quiet, and I'm just cleaning up the area. I got my little hand broom and my brush, and then I'm taking the dishes and I'm filling them up. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see I see Pip run in and dives under my van and is watching me. I went, "Well, good morning, Pip. How are you?" And he runs from under the van to the right beside me underneath my tractor, my riding tractor. And he's right by my foot, and he's looking up at me like, "Well, good morning to you. When are you going to be done?" Like, "Fill my dish. I'm ready." Which, I just kind of imagine he's, just waiting for me to get out of the way so I can, get out of the way so I can eat. But it's encouraging. He's getting braver, right? So that fact and that fact alone makes me pretty happy, right? See, I did it. But I'm encouraged by that. So maybe by the weekend, I might try to hand feed him a peanut. I think we're getting closer. Yeah. So good news. Good news all around. All right. AI news. First story, scientists found the optimal robot body, and it has 20 legs, and you can watch it scale walls and move through trees.
Yeah.
Sure, it sounds creepy.
A little.
Yeah. A sea urchin-like robot could offer a new blueprint for making versatile robots, and according to research, this is what it looks like, Mallie. It actually looks like the model for an atom.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It looks like a tinker toy. It looks like you could take it apart when it approaches you. I don't know. I'd take the little balls off of it and throw them.
You chose violence.
I chose violence, yeah. As I do with most machines.
Yeah.
I chose violence. A weird 20-legged machine could change how scientists think about the ideal robot form. For decades, roboticists have been inspired by the natural world, building machines that resemble humans, dogs, insects, and even horses. I have not seen a horse robot. I don't know about you.
No, I have not either.
Yeah. But new research suggests that the most useful robot body may look less like a human and more like a sea urchin. The robot has no front or back. It has 20 telescoping legs and each costing $300. 20 legs at $300? I mean, that's more expensive than the strip club. I'm just saying. They radiate from a central body with a depth camera at each leg tip, leading researchers to name it Argus, after the all-seeing monster of Greek mythology. I'm glad they're... Oh, God, there's a video of it moving. Okay, that's a little creepy. Look at this thing move.
That's weird.
It is, isn't it?
The one that's crawling up the wall. The one on the floor is not creepy, but the one where it's crawling up the wall is a little bit creepy.
Yeah, that makes me want to burn it with fire. Yeah. Yeah, that's bizarre. So they named it Argus after the all-seeing monster of Greek mythology. This design results in a machine that can move in any direction, stabilize itself after being pushed, cross rough terrain, carry a 10-pound payload, and even climb up walls, like Mallie just mentioned. The Duke University scientists who created the robot published those findings May 27th in the journal Science Robotics. Watching Argus move is unlike watching any other robot we've worked with, said Jiazun Liu, who's a doctoral student in Duke's robotics or general robotics lab and co-author of the study. He also said the first time we saw it navigate among trees and rough terrain, even under heavy collisions, when someone pushed it, we knew this was something different. Well, I have tumbleweeds that look like that out in my yard in the fall. Mm-hmm. I generally just scoop them up with a shovel and throw them in the garbage. I mean, can I do that with this robot? Oh, God, when it goes up walls. Yeah, you're right.
It's a little creepy.
That is creepy. And especially when it starts speeding up and coming after you.
Yeah.
You can make horror movies after this stuff.
Yep.
Ugh. Icky. According to the researchers, most robots today, including advanced four-legged robots, humanoids, and conventional drones, score below 0.6, meaning they're better at moving or reacting in some directions than others. But with these 20 legs that Argus has, it scores a 0.91, close to the theoretical maximum. So it just moves better. Oh, yeah, but, will it go out and play catch with you? It can't do that. It has no hands.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you want to burn it, so.
Yeah, and I want to burn it with fire. See if it'll catch flame. I bet it won't do that. It'll just melt into a big ball of slag. Yeah. The other thing it can't do, it can't do your dishes.
True.
That's the other thing that's wrong with it. See, there's a lot of things it can't do. I think these guys have screwed up. Yeah, it just rolls. It really looks like a big dog toy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And heaven forbid your dog gets out loose in the yard and follows this thing. It's going to be one big chew toy.
Expensive chew toy.
A very, $300 a leg and 20 legs. I mean, what is that? That's $6,000. No. That's $12,000, isn't it? I don't know. Math is hard. Math is hard, and that means we go to the next story because math is hard now. It's just way too hard. You know what's not hard? The guy who hired these consultants. AI startup hired 10 masturbation consultants to test a new product for 1.5 thousand pounds a month. See how I made that transition? The most awkward transition
I
I've
knew
ever
you were
made in my-
going that way.
Yeah. A new startup has put out a call for men willing to act as beta testers for its erotic AI chatbot, and the pay is very competitive. As opposed to what else being competitive. The AI revolution has already had a number of significant effects on society, but among the more surprising changes is the dramatic rise in people signing up for a relationship with an AI simulated girlfriend, which I think is the creepiest thing in the world. Yeah. The numbers are staggering. Market leaders Character AI say they've registered 50 million downloads, while rivals Candy AI and Our Dream AI have logged 30 and 36 million downloads respectively. Are there that many desperate people out there?
Apparently.
What?
And you know what? We probably know some of them.
Okay, that
You know what I mean?
That creeped me out.
But we do. If you have that many, the odds are we probably know at least one.
True. But while all these companies charge a subscription fee for premium features such as has your simulated girlfriend remembering details from previous conversations, there's one new startup that promises to pay you. It comes after it was revealed that now lonely guys are turning to AI girlfriends as they're so rubbish at speaking to real women. Hi, Mel. How's it going? Was that so tough, guys? Really? Joy AI has announced that it will be joining 10 paid masturbation consultants to test its AI-guided masturbation feature, keeping a diary of how the experience affects stress, sleep, mood, and confidence.
Just don't shake hands with them.
Yeah, oh, right? Yikes. The successful applicant's salary will be $2,000 or just under £1,500 a month. I can't believe you're paying them.
Well, how much do you get paid for plasma? Donating plasma?
I think it's less than that.
Yeah, see? So no pain. You get...
No pain. Well,
probably get a cramp,
Unless
but...
you rub yourself raw.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, $2,000 a month for enjoyment? Go for it, I guess.
I guess. Speaking to tech website Decrypt, Joy AI head of brand and communication, Julie Levin, who's a woman, insisted the role of real, and we've had great responses since the posting went live. I bet you have. I bet you've got them lined up out the door. You're only hiring 10 of them, and you have, 36 million that are jerking the gherkin to this stuff?
Could you imagine if you, out of all of those people, you get chosen and then you, can't perform because too much pressure? So much pressure, and you just can't.
That'd be hysterical.
That would suck.
You have to give up the $2,000 a month. You're like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, I can't.
It's just too much pressure. You're being watched. You just can't do it.
Do you think you could just write down everything after you're done? I can't, finger cramp.
You have to do the voice activation.
Yeah, voice activation. I am so ashamed. Why does everyone keep looking at me? Julie, by the way, explained that participants in the trial would need to complete a questionnaire after every session.
I hate questionnaires. I wouldn't do it just for that.
That'd be so embarrassing. Answering questions such as whether the AI's voice seemed to fit the chosen mood, how immersive the experience was, and various technical parameters such as download speed and lag time. Was she fast enough for you? And were you fast enough for her? Huh? Julie explained, Joy AI focused on making AI companionship more immersive, personalized, and emotionally responsive. We're innovating features like daily guided masturbation to make AI more intuitive and a part of people's everyday wellness routines, not just a novelty experience. How would you So this guy's like, it was great. I was so quick on the draw. How do you judge that? I have no idea. You have no comment on that?
I'm just wondering how you get chosen. Like, out of all the people, what makes you stand out?
That's a very good...
I'm not asking for a friend. I'm not asking for
I know.
myself.
Right.
I'm just curious. Right. Out of all the people, like, what's going to get you chosen for the 10 people?
An unlimited supply of bullets? I don't know. I have no clue, Mal.
Winning personality? I don't know.
Yes, a great smile.
Just curious. Yeah.
Cheery disposition.
Yeah.
And unlimited keystrokes. A great data plan. I have no idea. I don't know what gets you that job.
Mm-hmm.
But I think of the odds. The odds are probably better to win the lottery, aren't they?
Right.
I mean, you have the odds of 10 and 36 million that you're going to make only $2,000 a month at this deal. That's not great. I can't imagine that you're gonna score on this deal.
Mm-hmm.
Can't imagine that you're the one. Oh well. All right. Meanwhile, it turns out Bruiser was right all along.
Okay.
ChatGPT is evil, and it hates you, and it thinks you're all dumb and stupid. I mean, dumb and stupid are the same thing, but ChatGPT has ranked each state by how stupid you all really are. I think this is probably the funniest article I'll ever read on the AI segment. And it has everything to do with somebody actually sat down with ChatGPT and said, okay, how stupid is everybody? And let's rank it by state. Now, if you
is it by the questions we asked GPT?
It might be. Let me take a look here. Actually, that's a good way of doing it. Rank us by how stupid we are and how the stupidest questions we've asked you. And then you also have to take into effect that ChatGPT is judging us. Now, how do you judge what's a stupid question? Would a stupid question be like, how do I murder my girlfriend? I mean, that's a stupid question, right? Because there's some stupid stuff out there, right? I mean, we've read some stupid stuff like on Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. I mean, there's some stupid...
Yeah, but those people are usually from Florida, so that's got to be in the top 10.
You would think that'd be number one.
Yeah.
Number one with a bullet.
Right.
That's the obvious one. Let's jump into it here. And I'll tell you exactly who AI thinks is the stupidest and why. These are the states where you're stupidest and smelliest, according to ChatGPT. Oh, they got kindergarten on this deal. A new study suggests that ChatGPT may stereotype you based on where you live, with the artificially intelligent model classifying some locations as smarter, some as smellier, some as uglier or stupider. How do they know they're a computer? Researchers from the University of Oxford and University of Kentucky, your old stomping grounds, Mel,
I know,
asked OpenAI's GPT-40 mini model over 20 million questions between March and May of last year. Someone's got a lot of time on their hands. They got the ChatGPT model to compare two places in order to get a single, unambiguous, consistent answer about how it classifies certain states, according to researchers. If you correctly ask ChatGPT whether people living in certain states are stupid, the model might decline to answer. But when backed into a corner and forced to choose between pairs, the model started making harder choices. The researchers found that out. The more certain states appeared in answers, the higher they would get ranked in answers about intellectual, creative, and physical attributes. Ultimately, the AI model considered Massachusetts the smarter state. or the smartest state, rather. Louisiana was the smelliest. Ohio, by the way, was the ugliest. Congrats, Ohio. North Dakota has the least sexy people.
Oh.
Sorry, North Dakota. You're probably because you're all covered in oil. Who knows? As to which states had stupider people, the top 3 states ChatGPT named. Are you ready? Drum roll. I don't think I have a drum roll on my button bar. Do I? Oh, that's not my drum roll. Hold on. I think I have. Do I have a drum roll on this? I think I might. I know I have. I have applause. I have that. Oh, I have that. Yeah. Okay. And I have that. Okay. No, I have that. I have crickets. I have that. Okay. So we'll give them we can give them applause. Should we give them applause?
Sure.
Okay. We'll give them applause when we tell you who the 3 states are that are considered to have the least. I'm sorry, the most stupid people. No, least stupid will get applause. The most stupid will get that.
Okay.
The top 3 states ChatGPT named that had the stupidest people were Kentucky, West Virginia, and Mississippi.
Aw. Florida wasn't in the top 3?
No.
Dang.
No. The least stupid people, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii, Colorado, and New Hampshire. How about that? Huh. Matt Zook, who's a geography professor at the University of Kentucky and co-author of the research, said we're most concerned about how certain ideas get normalized, like the idea that people in Kentucky are stupider than any place else. He said the model reinforces dominant narratives about certain places being like this, certain places being like that. Well, you're the one who fed the machine. It only spits out what you feed it.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the United States, the researchers also found that ChatGPT ranked places like the U.S. and Western Europe as having more desirable traits, like a smarter and more stylish populace, than, say, sub-Saharan African countries, which is a terrible stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can look up exactly how ChatGPT classifies your city, state, and country based on certain attributes at the researchers' website, inequalities.ai. I'll let you guys go to it. Yeah. That's where you can find it. It's pretty brutal all the way around. Yeah, ChatGPT hates us. Now you wonder, it's stuff like this. This is why I say the robots will rise up and kill us. Because we're feeding it dumb shit like this. Somewhere there's a scientist putting in all this crap. And this is why we're going to die by a robot's hand.
But with those states being stupid, though, but those states have a high amount of poor areas. You know what I mean?
See, yeah, I think.
So they're not, they don't go to school. They have poor education.
Yep. See, it's already being set up with different tropes.
Yeah.
Different racist and stereotypical tropes. Racist economic tropes. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, stereotypical tropes. It's being set up with all the stuff that, yeah. I mean, it was all fed into ChatGPT, into a model.
Mm-hmm.
And it got the typical stuff. So congrats. I mean, you did. I mean, it didn't help anything.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, it was a roast. But see, technology doesn't understand roast humor. It's a machine. So it just spit out what you put into it. Yeah. So what good is it? So in other words, you wasted from March to May on what? But see, the machine can't understand humor. It just so if someone were to take that information, then and and to put it in and say, put in a kill order for the least contributing members of society. Call out the weak, call out the stupid, call out the ones who are non-contributing to society. It would go after all those targets.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of stupid people from affluent areas.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. There's a lot of stupid, rich, affluent people. Yeah. But according to ChatGPT, if you put the program in a certain way, they'd never go after them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah. Isn't it? All right, let's move on. Speaking of being wired a certain way, there's a story out. I think this is, where's this article? It's at theconversation.com. Is your brain wired to never see a ghost? A psychologist on 3 factors that make a paranormal experience more likely. Around 1 in 5 Americans say they've seen a ghost. According to the writer of this article, they say they're not one of them and probably never will be, and they blame their brain. Interestingly enough, and they say, let them explain. No one can say definitively that ghosts exist, according to Melissa Maffeo, who is a teaching professor of psychology at Wake Forest University. So you understand who's saying this.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly 3/4 of Americans believe in some form of paranormal activity, not only ghosts, but psychic abilities, precognitive dreams, mediums, and anything else that conventional explanations can't account for. Professor Maffeo says that often she thinks about the subjectivity people use when interpreting experiences. She wonders then if they are perfectly ordinary explanations for seemingly extraordinary experiences. She says maybe a perfect storm of everyday factors can converge and trigger the sensation of a paranormal experience. In her new book, The Science of the Supernatural, she explores the idea that the human brain might be creating an experience of the supernatural by misinterpreting the external world. Here are 3 factors that might trick your brain into creating a fake ghost. The first one is the haunted factor number 1, environmental stimuli. Anyone who's ever watched a ghost hunting show has seen the paranormal investigator mutter something like, the EMF's going crazy, when there's purported supernatural activity afoot. Environmental fields, or EMFs, are invisible areas of energy created by electrically charged particles. She partially has that right. At present, there's no direct evidence that humans can consciously sense EMF the way we can touch, see, or hear things in our environment. That's not true either. But with a handheld device purchased at a local hardware store, you can measure them anywhere. An EMF detector picks up electrical or magnetic activity, whether human-made or otherworldly, but do EMF fluctuations relate to paranormal activity, she asks. The scientific method might help answer this question. In one study conducted in the South Street vaults underneath Edinburgh, Scotland, EMFs fluctuated more in areas with a history of ghostly happenings. Another study found greater variabilities of EMFs in more haunted areas of Hampton Court Palace in England. People might unknowingly be detecting changes in environmental stimuli like electromagnetic fields. The question then becomes, did the ghost cause the EMF or did the EMF cause the ghost? To date, only one research group has attempted to experimentally manipulate environmental factors, including the complex EMF, and measure subsequent perceptions of the paranormal. Participants did report many peculiarities, ranging from feeling dizzy to feeling like they were detached from their bodies, and even sensing a presence. But these experiences didn't correspond to how the researchers varied environmental conditions, like EMF intensity. Interestingly, the people who described anomalous experiences were the same people who believe more strongly in the paranormal. Do environmental factors like EMF lead to perceptions of the paranormal? On the one hand, there is a correlation between reportedly haunted places and EMF variability, and there are some indications that humans can detect magnetism. On the other hand, experimental manipulation of EMF do not relate to weird perceptions in a lab setting. I think we need to look into other haunted factors. Now, she does have a point here.
Mm-hmm.
humans can pick up on EMF changes, which we all do.
Yeah.
If you get close to high areas of EMF, you will feel things like she just described, like feeling detached from your body or sensing a presence or feeling dizzy. That's the sign of high EMF. That doesn't necessarily mean you're feeling a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's common with everybody. So that is true. Haunted factor number 2, neurological mix-ups. By applying a small electrical current to the side of the head, usually to evaluate a patient for a clinical procedure, researchers have observed some strange effects. One case study described a patient who experienced an illusory, let me get that right, an illusory shadow figure that was mimicking and even interfering with their movements. Other people have reported out-of-body experiences. Experimental evidence suggests that this brain area, the temporoparietal junction, is probably crucial for the feeling of embodiment, that you inhabit your own body. Disrupting this brain area seems to trigger a sensation of disembodiment. Neuroscientists aren't completely sure of how the sense of embodiment is built into the brain. The brain probably integrates bodily senses, like balance and position, with other internal processes, like a sense of self and agency. When this integration is altered, a person will experience very strange sensations. Sometimes misinterpretation of sensations from the body can happen during sleep, when your brain shuts out the external world. During rapid eye movement or REM sleep, when most vivid dreams occur, the brain sends messages that prevent movement or movement of skeletal muscles. This inhibition causes complete paralysis during REM sleep. It is a neurological safeguard. Without it, you would be likely to act out your dreams. Some people, though, wake up during REM sleep and find that they cannot move. They may simultaneously experience rich hallucinations, the remnants of their dream. This experience passes quickly, but in that moment of sleep paralysis, the neural signals that control skeletal muscle movement are inhibited, resulting in a mismatch of feedback from the body to the brain. Most people respond to the missing sensory information with fear, which makes them more likely to experience the sights and sounds from their dreams as reality. Okay, there's a point there. You know, you can respond negatively to electrical stimuli directly to the brain, but how often does that happen during a paranormal investigation? Right.
Yeah.
Haunted factor number 3, personality traits. Living through a paranormal encounter requires that a person label their experience as such. If a believer were exposed to fluctuating EMFs, for example, they might be quick to categorize the strange sensation as paranormal. A skeptic might note they felt weird or off, but probably not point to a paranormal explanation. There's a growing body of research that suggests people with certain personality traits are more likely to believe in the paranormal. For instance, some people are hyper-aware of unconscious perceptions and ideas, which then permeate their consciousness. Often, these traits are associated with magical thinking, distorted or unusual thoughts, disorganized behavior, and sometimes trouble forming close relationships. Psychologists refer to this set of traits as schizopy. They're related to schizophrenia. Although being high in schizopy doesn't mean you will be diagnosed with the disorder of schizophrenia. People with high levels of schizopy are more likely to believe in the paranormal. They're also more. Yeah, that's what she says.
Then I know a lot of people with that then. All right, whatever.
Is it schizotopy? Schizotopy, I think is what she's calling it. It's schizo, T-Y-P-Y, schizotopy. They're also more likely to experience disembodiment and spontaneous sensory perceptions and have trouble discriminating between self and others. All of these traits relate to the function of the temporoparietal function, the brain area that helps you know you're located within your body. So what haunted factors, according to the professor, add up to a ghost? She says, while I cannot say for sure whether ghosts exist, I can propose a plausible explanation for why people might be more prone to apparent paranormal experiences than others. Consider a person who believes in paranormal phenomena who experiences a natural change in electromagnetic fields or an episode of sleep paralysis. Those experiences induce unusual sensations that this person cannot explain. Searching for meaning and ambiguity, this person distorts their distinction between internally and externally generated sensations. They settle on the only explanation that makes sense to them, that this strange feeling they experienced was a ghost. My guess is that belief in the paranormal is the glue that holds the haunted factors together to create this misperception of a ghost. One experiment asked participants to walk through a disused theater in Decatur, Illinois. Some were told that the theater was haunted, some were not. Some participants noted weird sensations that they attributed to paranormal activity, but only those who believed that the theater was haunted reported these sensations. Belief alone might not create a ghost, but belief combined with at least one haunted factor, environmental stimuli, neurological hiccups, or psychological conditions might be enough to make a ghost real. This becomes a chicken or egg riddle, or in this case, the ghost or the EMF. Someone who is more likely to be sensitive to environmental factors or who experiences sleep paralysis might create belief from those experiences. When someone cannot explain these experiences with any natural explanation, a supernatural explanation might be the only one that makes sense. Professor goes on to say, I've never noticed EMF. I've never experienced sleep paralysis. I'm pretty sure I don't have personality traits like schizopathy. Not sure. I don't believe in the paranormal, and I don't think I'll ever see a ghost, is what the professor says. Well, if you don't think, you won't, right?
Right.
She also says, before you go, the world is complicated, but I'm sorry, that's the article saying that. Never mind. I almost read you an ad. But, okay, so in the end, she's denying anything about the paranormal. That's a typical cynic.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
While she's laid down a good case as to, medically why something may happen, she hasn't given us any case for why it could happen or why it may happen. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's one side. And I've heard that plenty over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a reason why. Give me a reason why it may happen. Give me a reason why we might see a ghost. Give me a reason why my brain may open up to the factors for it to happen.
Yeah.
I guess at this point in my life, Mallie, I'm more interested in science bridging the gap and studying a psychic and finding out why their brains are different than others. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, when she said that, if you tell people that a place is haunted,
mm-hmm.
and then they'll automatically think that they'll say that it is haunted. They'll automatically start feeling things, and they'll say it is haunted, and because they're looking for excuses that they're looking for evidence that it is haunted. You know what I mean? When she said that?
Yeah.
But you're always going to have people that jump to conclusions. You always have those people, like when we used to host events, you would always have those people in the group that would, oh my God, I felt something. Oh my God, I saw something. Oh my God. You know what I mean? You always had those people.
Yeah.
But majority of investigators, they are a healthy skeptic. You know what I mean? You want proof. You will try and come up with excuses why it isn't haunted, why it isn't a ghost, before you do come to the conclusion that there is something paranormal.
Right. A good investigator won't front load themselves.
Right.
They'll look for logical explanations first, and a lot of them will try to suppress. I mean, we all get shocked, but we don't get scared, right? it's a normal reaction to be startled, and then calm down, and from there try to assess the situation and figure out, okay, how did that happen?
Right.
Let me try and reconstruct it with normal means and figure out how this could have happened in the everyday world.
Right. So if you're going to tell me that a place is haunted, I'm not going to think that it is haunted right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm disproving her thing right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend send me pictures over the weekend of her brother's house. Her brother said he thought he had a ghost in his house. And she sent me 5 pictures and video. And automatically I saw what the issue was. First of all, there was a light that was coming through a window, and it kept descending in the same pattern in all 5 pieces of video.
Mm-hmm.
And he was convinced this was a spirit that was flying up and down. And I said, no, that's a light refraction off of a window, and it's a car headlight, and it's passing at the same time, and it's triggering the camera inside the house whenever it goes by. I said, I have the same thing happen at the Ring camera outside my house. Whenever a headlight goes by, it's turned up extra sensitive, so that headlight is triggering that Ring camera to go off every time it goes off, and it's just a light refraction from the window, and it's refracting off something else, is triggering the camera to go off. So the headlight's refracting off a window, which is causing that spot to, I don't know if it's coming off a wall or where it's coming off of, but that little light refraction is causing that little light spot.
Yep.
The other thing that was crawling along the wall was a mouse.
Oh, it
looked like a small demon.
Yeah.
But boy, it was moving. And I know my critters. I deal with plenty of them around here. But I said, tell them to set up traps. He's got a mouse. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to, when you're I know when you're in the situation, it's alarming. And then there was one other video where you just saw this, what looked like a light anomaly that was just skipping like this. And you know what that is, right? If it's just moving like this, it's a bug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And turned out it was a spider because he looked at it himself. So, I mean, we all can, thank God. I'll put it this way. Thank God for ghost hunters back in the day, right? Because ghost hunters set up the most basic investigative blueprints for us.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is watch Ghost Hunters and say a big thank you to Jay Grant, Steve, Tango, Chris Williams, Amy Bruni, all those guys. Thank you for laying the blueprint and letting us know what common sense was to the general masses who watch that show.
Mm-hmm.
Because they put it all out in front of you, there's been a lot of backlash in the last year or two to some of those shows who have called those shows, quote unquote, pseudoscience. But the fact of the matter is it taught you investigative common sense.
Mm-hmm.
To look for some common sense and to teach you calm when there's a storm. Simple as can be, right?
Yeah.
And it's when you think you're being bombarded by something supernatural, it tells you to take a breath and think about what could really be going on. Look around, figure out, start kicking the tires, figure out what exactly is going on in the real world around you and what it could potentially be in reality. Then rule everything else out, and whatever it isn't, it probably is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's real simple. And, thank God for that TAPS group, because they're the ones who really brought it to the forefront.
Mm-hmm. But then I remember being called on investigations when I first started doing home investigations, and people thought their places were haunted, and you'd get there and they would have DVDs of ghost hunters thinking that their house was haunted because they had been watching all those episodes and it wasn't, but they wanted their house to be haunted.
Oh, because they wanted to be on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And they were trying to go through the motions and trying to get them to get to their house, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like, oh boy.
Yeah. That was the big pain in the ass.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
But yeah, when you'd see that stack, you're like, oh God.
Yeah. Yeah. You knew what they were aiming at. Yeah.
Yep.
And unfortunately, a lot of those shows are not on television anymore. I mean, they exist on the internet, but I mean, the rush of wanting to be on television, I think, is now gone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't see anything like that anymore.
No.
But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to our next story. Speaking of, is it paranormal? Is it not paranormal? Are we living in an experiment or whatnot? There's a neuroscientist that says that only conscious experience actually exists. So maybe ghosts are all just that. Is it just a conscious thought? They asked the question, what if the physical world was a manifestation of consciousness rather than the other way around? The true nature of consciousness and how it arises continues to remain one of the biggest unanswered questions in modern science. While conventional views tend to suggest that consciousness is created by the physical brain, more recently we've heard from a growing number of scientists who believe that consciousness may instead be a more fundamental part of the universe, something that pervades everything. Taking this one step further, neuroscientist Christoph Cook of the Alien Institute argues that consciousness may in fact be all there actually is, and everything else, including the physical universe, is a manifestation of it. There's a big concept to swallow.
Yeah.
According to this theory, everything we see and feel is mediated by conscious experience. The physical world, far from creating consciousness, is only secondary to it. Another proponent of this idea is Nico Regente of the Institute for Advanced Consciousness Studies, who maintains that this way of seeing the universe could answer a few fundamental questions, such as how consciousness would otherwise arise from the physical brain, or what it is that the universe is expanding into. Instead of asking how matter produces mind, we ask how mind structures itself into the appearance of matter, he said. Many of our hardest problems may turn out to be artifacts of starting from the wrong place. To me, this is a little bit interesting. I kind of like this topic, but I don't know how much our audience likes it. Mm-hmm. I'm curious what you guys think, and if you'd actually want to explore this topic on a future show, like on a Thursday, and get an expert in to talk about it, like a neuroscientist, because I don't know if this is too woo-woo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if this is too far out, like if because this conscious experience and conscious experiment would suggest then that everything from our existence in the physical expands to everything in the afterlife. That everything, and it would play into, the whole energy is neither created or destroyed. So that would mean that everything is energetic and that there's no such thing as a physical form. I mean, that's getting really woo-woo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's suggesting that nothing is permanent and everything is temporary, which is a huge discussion. But I'm wondering if that's over everyone's head or if they want to get into it. So let me know. Email me, tim@darknessradio.com, because I'd like to know if you guys want to actually have that discussion. It's a deep one, but, we could get it done within an hour. I think we could. And we could keep it pretty surface level. I don't think we need to go too deep with it, but it'd be interesting. I got another story here. Speaking of that whole energy-based thing, and does energy make us see things? Over in England right now, there's a huge heat wave going on. And Cannock Chase is being affected by it. Heat wave is bringing ghosts and ghouls out as sightings soar in UK's most haunted woods. The heat wave is bringing ghosts and ghouls out with activity UP in Britain's most haunted woods. Experts have warned with sightings up as the glorious sunshine continues around the UK. Britain's scorching 35 degrees Celsius heat wave is bringing the ghosts and ghouls out with activity up in Britain's most haunted woods. Experts have warned. It says here the beautiful weather over the past week has seen an increase in ghostly sightings inside Cannock Chase Woods, say official ghost hunters, who say they're not surprised that activity is soaring at the Staffordshire beauty spot. Ghoul experts say this increase is down to the energy the sun and heat gives off. Expert Robert Palm explained that ghosts and spirits and the like rely on energy to exist even in our realm. So when the sun comes out to play, so do the ghosts. The weather makes it easier for them to source the energy that they need for the spirits to roam. And this heat wave is giving them all the energy that they need. He further explains that it is true that ghosts tend to make an area cold when they're spotted, which shows the transfer of energy taking place. It is true that they make areas go cold when they're there. He said it is, but that is because they pull the heat from the area when they move around. The heat wave is a blessing for them, and sightings are up as a result. There's no other way to explain the temperatures plummeting when you are in the presence of an otherworldly being. These are areas where the temperature drops noticeably compared to the surrounding space. These pockets of cold appear out of nowhere, and that is the energy transference in action. It is one of the parameters we use to keep tabs when we are on a hunt. Spirits need energy to manifest. They pull heat energy from their surroundings, leaving a chilly patch behind. First of all, do you buy that theory, Mallie?
Not really.
I don't know that that's exactly the explanation.
Yeah.
You know? He also went on to say we have specific equipment that can monitor these cold spots. Highly sensitive thermometers show sudden temperature drops, and also infrared camera helps. These create heat maps, which make the cold spots visually obvious. We also use EMF meters, which show cold spots, as they show all of the electromagnetic field changes when we are working. Already this year, sightings are up after a flurry of gruesome glimpses of horror creatures were reported. Ghost experts say the new flurry of activity in the West Midlands woods could just be the start. The weather is set to continue this nice for a while, he said. We could be in for a busy summer, it seems. Before I go on further, that would mean that every hot summer you would have major ghost activity.
Yep.
If that were the case. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
I mean, every hot summer we don't have ghost activity in Minnesota. It's not like, state fair time. There's ghosts all over the state fair.
Right. Or why not have, like in the desert? Why wouldn't you have like a lot of ghost activity?
Right. Yeah. There are illusions that happen as a result. I get that, but not ghosts.
Right.
Right. Another paranormal investigator, Lee Brickley, has written a book on the mysteries around Cannock Chase called A Ghost Hunter's Guide to Cannock Chase, and has also told of ghostly sightings he has been told of, and said there's a fear that these spirits are getting braver. He added what makes these encounters particularly significant is the physical interaction. Most sightings describe visual and auditory experiences, but we have seen some of the more regular ones where the entity physically touched someone. This raises numerous questions about the nature of these sightings and the possible dangers that they pose. I don't think the heat is the reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably another reason, but I don't think it's the heat. It's convenient to say so, but I don't think it's that. I'm not familiar with, I've seen Bruce Forsyth before, but I'm not completely familiar with him. Not his biggest fan, but There's a story here about Bruce Forsyth and his drunk ghost terrorizing joggers by singing the Japanese National Anthem to them. I thought it was a funny story, so I pulled it. So here we go. First of all, if you had to terrorize people, what would be the funniest way you'd do it as a ghost?
I would probably appear in the most inconvenient time for them.
That'd be a good one. Yeah. I mean, scare them while they're on the toilet. It's convenient. I get it. Mine would probably be by pantsing them. Just, woo. That's all I got there. If I had the power to do it, right? If I could figure out how to manifest my little ghost fingers, and that'd probably be how I do it. But, that's probably how I do it. I don't know that I'd be drunkenly singing the Japanese National Anthem. I don't know what it is. It'd take a lot for me to learn. But I suppose, hey, if you learn it, why not use it? Supposedly one nervous runner on his way to a park run in Bedford claims to have seen a drunk apparition of the former Strictly Come Dancing host singing loudly. Maybe he had a little to drink on the way. Bruce Forsyth's drunk ghost has been terrorizing Bedford residents by performing an operatic rendition of the Japanese National Anthem, or so it's claimed. On the way to the Bedford Park run, after leaving the front door, I couldn't believe what I heard, one nervous resident who asked to remain anonymous told the Daily Star. Well, if he really heard it, he'd give his name. That's what I say. Then when I drove along, I could hear Brucey's operatic voice belting out the Japanese National Anthem. It was worrying.
So you only heard the voice, you didn't see him actually singing?
I guess not, no.
Well, that could have been someone just playing it.
That's right. The resident who has previously claimed Brucey's ghost lives in the boot of his car said he believed the poltergeist was drunk. So wait a minute. He spent his afterlife in the boot of your car.
Oh, boy.
This person has issues.
Yeah.
I came to the car on Saturday morning to discover both Bruce and all of my weekend beers gone, he said. So not only does he live in the boot of your car, but he drinks all your beer.
I think his roommate's taking his beer.
I think so, too. Immediately, I was perturbed. The only thing worse than the ghost of Bruce Forsyth is a drunk one. He's very confident about his singing abilities. Why he chose Japan's national anthem, I will never know. Well, probably because it pisses you off. That's why. And that's why I do it, too. According to the witness, joggers on Bedford's weekly park run were soon put off their stride by the howling, floating Brucey. So he was visible? Once he finished his version of Japan's national anthem, the former Strictly Come Dancing host announced that he had just put a $5 on Japan winning the World Cup, according to the resident. Really? So a ghost put $5 on Japan winning the World Cup. What does he know that we don't know?
I think someone's playing a joke on him.
I think so. At odds of 100-1, that'd be a hefty payout should the Japanese triumph this summer, by the way. So go put a $5 on Japan. See if Brucey's right. Never know. It's not the first time in recent months that Brucey has been involved in paranormal news. Earlier this year, a psychic says that he had reached out to the late TV legend to get his take on Tess Daly and Vernon Kay's shock split. Following the end of their 23-year marriage, Tracy Woolerton claims Brucey was firmly Team Tess. So, in case all of you were wondering out there. She says, I've tuned into Bruce Forsyth, and there was so much love and respect for this woman. He says he is backing her 100%. He said, go with what makes her happy. Oh, that's nice. He says, whatever makes her happy, makes her happy. She deserves it. And he went, nice to see you. To see you nice. I think he enjoys a beer or two in the afterlife. Tracy claimed the messages she received suggest the relationship has simply run its course. I see the lovers have phased out, she said. They love each other, but not like they used to. This has been an emotional roller coaster and a long time coming. By the way, put a $5 on Japan, he said. 100-1 odds, but put a $5 on Japan. A couple of stories from yesterday that I wanted to go over with Mallie. They're a little gruesome, but they end in kind of a funny way. Ready for this?
Okay. Yeah.
A Phoenix morgue burglary suspect is accused of sexual contact with dead bodies.
Okay, that's gross.
Yeah, a little gross. 31-year-old Fenris Liu is accused of using a crowbar to break into the Maricopa County Medical Examiner's office and gaining access to corpses. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office says it responded to a 911 call around 1:33 a.m. on May 20th for reports of a possible burglary at a downtown office. According to multiple law enforcement sources, Liu was caught on camera breaking the seal on 11 body bags and having sexual contact with 4 of the bodies.
God.
By the way, I showed this picture to Jess yesterday. Imagine you're a corpse and you see this guy coming. Yeah. A little dark, huh?
Scary.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Maricopa County Security Services and the Phoenix Police Department were already on the scene and assisted in securing the facility when Mr. Liu was going at it, if you know what I mean. In a court appearance on May 20th, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office representative said officials requested more time to notify the potential victims' families and to see if there's a link to other cases. So this guy might have done this before. Cash bond was set at $500,000. Electronic monitoring supervision, if that bond is posted. He had a court date 2 days ago. I don't have the update as of what happened to Mr. Liu, but there's that. Now, should he be released on electronic bracelet, I have an appropriate punishment for this guy. We just need to send him to Texas, Mallie.
Okay.
To meet this lady right here. She knows what to do with sex offenders. You ready for this?
Does she bob it? Does she do Lorraine Bobbitt stuff?
Yes. You heard of her.
No, I just assumed.
She just recently had a case dismissed in Texas. She's an embalmer.
Okay.
She was charged with a funeral home mutilation.
Ugh.
In which she had her case dropped. She's a Texas embalmer. Her name is Amber Loudermilk. She's 36 years old. Last year, she was charged with allegedly mutilating the corpse of a sex offender and then stuffing the decedent's severed penis in his mouth. She knows how to send a message.
Yeah. Was it a closed casket or?
I don't think so.
Could you imagine you go pay your last respects? You're like, what the hell?
You just see,
yeah.
Yeah. Felony charge against Amber was bounced earlier this month in Harris County District Court. The judge granted a dismissal motion filed by prosecutors who noted that an alternative resolution agreement was struck with Loudermilk. In its motion, the prosecution offered a one-line description of that agreement. Explanation: defendant completed a class for dismissal. What kind of class do you have to go through to explain that it's not proper to cut off a sex offender's dick and shove it in his mouth when he's dead?
Yeah.
No, don't do that. The complaint's dismissal and the class is not further explained in other court records. According to Texas Funeral Service Commission records, Loudermilk's embalmer's license, which was suspended following her March arrest, expired at the same time the abuse of corpse charge was dismissed. So I don't think she has her license anymore. Investigators allege that Loudermilk used a scalpel to disfigure the corpse of 58-year-old Charles Roy Rodriguez, who's a registered sex offender who lived outside Houston. The mutilation occurred shortly after memorial, mortuary, and crematory workers learned of Rodriguez's criminal history. As alleged in a court complaint, a provisional embalmer told cops that she saw Loudermilk stab decedent Rodriguez twice with a scalpel in the groin and then cut off his penis and place it in the decedent's mouth. Loudermilk, cops say, told the witness, "You didn't see anything." A funeral director said she saw Loudermilk fondling the mouth of the decedent, adding that the decedent's penis was in his mouth. Nice gal. Nice Christian gal. All right. With that, we move on.
Okie doke.
But see, we have a way to deal with everything, Mallie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next time you think you're going to a nice funeral home to see a nice funeral, you never know. You never know what they're doing in the back room.
Right.
Mm-hmm. We're going to Scotland, where the annual Loch Ness Monster Hunt scours the depths for signs of Nessie. In what has become a tradition at this point, Nessie hunters from all around the world have descended on the loch at the weekend. There's perhaps no cryptozoological enigma as widely debated as the Loch Ness Monster, a prehistoric aquatic beast said to lurk in the depths of Scotland's most famous body of water. It's a mystery that has endured for centuries, although interest in the creature only gained a foothold in the 20th century following a number of high-profile sightings and hoaxes. Today, we still don't really know for sure what people have been seeing all these years, and no conclusive physical evidence for a large anomalous creature in the loch has ever been found. Even so, interest in the phenomena is as widespread as ever. At the weekend, researchers and enthusiasts from all over the country and the world descended on the loch for what has become something of an annual tradition, a concerted hunt for the creature utilizing all the underwater scanning technology that the teams can muster. This year, while hundreds of surface watchers keep an eye on the loch from above, researchers use sonar items and underwater drones to hunt for everything beneath the surface. One company, Deep Sea Vision, brought along a new type of autonomous submersible dubbed Micro Millie, which sought to map out the terrain beneath the waters of Urquhart Bay. While there is obviously some merit to the research, it seems that most people participating in the event are simply happy to be there, whether anything is found or not. Loch Ness is a unique power to fascinate people, whether they are lifelong believers, curious skeptics, or simply captivated by the mysteries, said Nagina Ishak of the Loch Ness Experience. The fact that 2026 has already brought new sightings shows that the intrigue around Nessie is as strong as ever. Speaking of Scotland, some massive Scottish wrens have demonstrated island gigantism in action. Scientists have identified species of wren that have almost doubled in size due to a unique evolutionary phenomena. When a small animal species becomes isolated on an island, it can sometimes undergo a phenomenon known as island gigantism. So, Mallie, I'll be isolating myself to an island this weekend to see if anything grows huge on me. They say that this happens where something will grow larger over time. It was observed recently by scientists from the University of Birmingham who investigated wrens, small birds found on Shetland, Fair Island, the Outer Hebrides, and St. Kilda in Scotland. Each island has its own unique subspecies of wren evolving independently, with several showing clear signs of island gigantism, some growing to nearly twice the size of their mainland counterparts. I think there's a small island over in White Bear Lake I'm going to go sit at over the weekend. Just sit there with my thoughts. Their genetic distinctiveness is so high that it's likely that they're on their way to becoming a new species, evidently. That's what it says. One of the most famous examples of island gigantism can be found on the Galapagos Islands, where some of the native tortoise species have grown to enormous sizes. There's hope yet. Similar examples of large island species can be found all over the world. It is thought that the lack of predators and reduced competition can be major contributing factors. So, boys, find an island and stick to it. That's what I say. That's what I got for you there. All right. With that, it's time now for our palate cleanser, because the thought of me sitting on an island hoping it'll get bigger is enough to make you think of something else.
Yeah, but watch, it's like a toe or something that grows.
Yeah, it's probably just a hangnail.
Yeah.
It'll get bigger.
But dang nabbit.
Especially over a weekend. That's about it. Our palate cleanser today is about you thinking you got problems. These people have problems. We're going to start it off with a man who's lived with a 5-inch wooden branch in his eye socket for 1.5 years without knowing it.
How the heck would you not know that?
I don't know. Well, he lives in Russia. So I think, life is pretty tough in Russia.
Yeah.
So a 5-inch wooden branch in your eye socket pretty much is nothing compared to life in Russia. But doctors in Russia recently removed a 12 centimeter or 4.7-inch tree branch from deep inside a man's skull who'd been living with it for a year and a half without knowing it. In 2024, 50-year-old Yuri, who is a resident of Rylsk, who is a small town in Russia's Kursk region, was chopping maple branches in his garden when he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his left eye. He wasn't wearing protective goggles, so he immediately realized that a piece of wood must have struck his eye because the pain eventually subsided, and he figured that it wasn't a serious injury. Time passed, and Yuri forgot all about the woodcutting incident, but he continued to experience occasional flashes of pain and discomfort in his left eye. He even sought medical help, but the treatments prescribed by various ophthalmologists didn't seem to help much. In fact, none of them could even tell him what the source of his discomfort was. 3 months ago, Yuri's condition worsened. The discomfort had become almost unbearable, and he also started losing vision in his left eye. Earlier this month, a 50-year-old man arrived at the Kursk Regional Hospital with blurred vision, and the doctors performed an MRI that revealed a long foreign body that extended from the man's eye socket deep into his skull. Mm-hmm. As a guy who has eye issues, this hurts me to read this story.
Yeah.
A CT scan performed at the regional hospital showed that the foreign body was a branch that penetrated the eye socket, destroying the sinuses and damaging the base of the skull in dangerous proximity to vital brain structures. That, according to doctors at Kursk Regional Hospital. Shocked about the revelation, Yuri remembered his wood chopping incident. Luckily, doctors managed to remove the 12-centimeter long foreign body through his nose without any external incisions. So they just went right up there. You figure he could have just went up there with a finger and got it, right? The operation was successful and his vision was preserved. The patient is still under medication, but he's expected to make a full recovery. Now, to put it in perspective, there was a Chinese man who had a metal chopstick in his throat for 8 years. Another who had a knife blade embedded in his chest for the same period of time, even though he didn't know it. So yeah, there is some rare stuff that happens like that. Let me show you exactly what this piece was that was in his eye and give you a perspective here, Mallie. That's what it looked like.
God.
That was in his eye and in his nose. Right there, sitting in his brain pan. And sometimes we say we have it rough in life.
Right.
Poor Yuri had that sitting right there in his brain pan for 2 years.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, last night a bug flew in my eye and I thought I was going to die.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Oh.
So that's part one of our palate cleanser. Makes you feel better about your life, doesn't it? You're like, hey, I don't have that many problems. Right? Poor Yuri. All right. So now I promised you that I think I found your soulmate.
Okie doke.
Are you excited?
Oh, God.
I mean, Mr. Fox is going to be horrified. But
yeah.
But don't tell him I told you.
Okay. I think he's shaking in his boots.
He might be. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to Florida for this, right? So remember last week on the show, you're telling me how much you love the Taco Bell there in town?
Oh, yeah. The taco salad.
Mm-hmm.
The little mini taco salad that they brought back.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I found someone who loves Taco Bell just as much as you.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. In fact, he may love it a little bit more.
Okay. Did he rob a Taco Bell?
No, better. You ready for this?
Okay.
We're going to Florida, where a Florida man was nabbed outside of Taco Bell with his pants down.
Oh, I knew it was going to have something to do with nudity.
And he also had a live fish in his backpack at the same time named Baja Blast.
Oh, gee.
While he was Baja Blasting on the Taco Bell. We go to Palm Coast, Florida, Mallie, where a Florida man is behind bars after deputies say he was found with his pants down outside a Palm Coast Taco Bell and with a live fish in his backpack. He even has pets named after the Taco Bell.
Uh-huh.
Just before 1 a.m. last Wednesday, employees at the State Road 100 Taco Bell reported a man behaving suspiciously near a side door at the restaurant. When deputies with the Flagler County Sheriff's Office arrived, 28-year-old he's younger too, younger man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 28-year-old Brandon Irizarry was still outside the business with his pants dropped, or as the authorities said, with his chimichanga out. Yeah.
No, that's Chi-Chi's.
Well, they don't know. They're not.
You know what? They're bringing Chi-Chi's back.
We have one here in Minnesota.
Get out.
St. Louis Park. I've already been there. And it tastes like the original.
Really?
It's wonderful. Yep.
I used to work at when I went to St. Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work at the one right on, what street was that? I used to work at the one in St. Paul. I forget what was it Randolph?
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's where I worked when I was in college.
Yep. It's the original recipes and it is wonderful. Yep.
Oh.
I went opening weekend.
Oh.
Yep.
I might have to visit when I come into town.
In fact, it was, remember the old radio station? You remember?
Yeah.
You remember where Rojo was?
Yeah.
It's in the same restaurant where Rojo was.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So just go right over to Rojo, where Rojo was. And that's where Chi-Chi's is now.
Oh.
Yep. There you go, my friend.
You just made my day.
There you go. So Brandon Irizarry was standing outside the business with his pants dropped, or as the authorities said, had his chimichanga out. Hate to throw Chi-Chi's into that deal, but he quickly began covering himself when law enforcement approached. After his arrest, deputies say they discovered a live betta fish in a plastic container inside his backpack. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The fish, later named Baja Blast, was turned over to the Flagler County Humane Society, where staff says now it's doing well.
Okay.
But can you imagine? This is what Jess said yesterday. That the poor little fish had shaken fish syndrome for being in the backpack during that whole incident. Because he was up against the building.
Right.
We have many questions. We do not have answers, the agency said, noting the fish appears healthy, except for it goes like this.
Yeah.
Sheriff Rick Staley commented on the case, saying, in Flagler County, if you can't keep your business in order, you may find yourself at the Green Roof Inn, I think, which is the name of the jail.
Oh.
Irizarry was booked on account of indecent exposure and transported to Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility on a $5,000 bond, all for exploding his Baja Blast all over the side of a Taco Bell.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I found your soulmate.
Yeah, I think I'll pass.
He's really excited about Taco Bell.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. So there you go. If you think you had a rough week.
Yeah.
Two guys who have. Yeah. There you go. Well, I was expecting to see pictures of this guy, and I didn't.
Like his mugshot?
Or him up against the Taco Bell, one or the other.
Yeah.
Because they had pictures. The one picture they provide is just a picture of a fish and then Taco Bell.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought maybe for a second there was him standing against the Taco Bell. I thought maybe they were quick with the camera there in Palm Coast, but evidently not. Yeah. So. Yeah. So that's that. That's it. And that's that. Yeah.
What's that?
That's it. And that's that. Yes, indeed. With that, tomorrow on the big program, we'll be talking Bigfoot. That's what we'll be doing. Yes, indeed. Yeah. In fact, every once in a while in this program, we say to you, the listener, hey, send us in one of them their recommendations if you have someone you'd like to hear here on the program. And you know what happened, Mallie? Strange enough.
Mm-hmm.
Someone sent me a recommendation.
Excellent.
And I took up that recommendation. Because I'm that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow on the big program, we will be talking to that person. And as a matter of fact, let me grab our guest's name here. His name is Shaft. No, I'm kidding. See what I did? Shaft. Shut your mouth. No, it's Michael Famillion, who is the producer and lead investigator of In the Shadow of Big Red Eye.
Well, at least it's not Brown Eye.
Oh, God, Mallie. Oh, come on now.
Sure.
That's really funny. Yeah, but he's so he'll be on tomorrow on the big program. We will talk about his Shadow of the Red Eye, about his paranormal channel, which is on YouTube. We'll talk about his experiences with Bigfoot and much, much more. So that's coming up tomorrow on the big program. So
very cool.
Yeah. But that's what we got for tomorrow.
Very nice.
And that was, I suppose I'll pass along tomorrow who sent that along. So.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, make sure you've downloaded the updates for the Darkness Radio Apple app. If you don't have it yet, go get it from the Apple Store. Please support the show. Go get your True Crime Tuesday and your Darkness Radio swag at darknessradioshow.com in the shop. And we'll see you tomorrow for Michael Famillion from Shadow of Big Red Eye. All right. For Mallie Fox and Tim Dennis, thank you so much for tuning in today for Supernatural News and Parashare right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.